Lord, saints and friends. Brother DeMar Malone here with you again. The reason we're on tonight, last night we went through a little ordeal. I have two phones. I have a regular phone and I have a work phone. And there was something that I needed to do on my work phone by a certain time. And I could not find my work phone. And there's a special app on my work phone that is not on my personal phone that I needed. And so I was looking desperately everywhere I could look for my work phone. And I mean, I just had a dogged nature about me that I was just doggedly pursuing after my work phone because there was something that I needed to get done at a specific time or before a specific time. Otherwise, there would be consequences, and I didn't want those consequences. So I was pursuing after that phone desperately. I was looking under beds, had flashlights out. I was looking in cushions of couches. I was looking in the refrigerator. I was looking on the stove. I looked everywhere. I looked on shelves. I went through all the blankets on the beds, moved pillows. I mean, everything I could think. I looked through the garbage. So I thought there might be a chance that I threw it away or somebody threw the phone away by accident. And so, I mean, we went through everything we could think of, looked in the bathroom, looked under the couches, in the cushions, in the chairs, everywhere we could think to sit it. We looked all over for that phone. And every step of the way, it kept coming to my mind and my spirit. What if you begin to pursue after God like this phone? What if your relationship with God was as important as this phone or this deadline? What if you looked at your life like this deadline and you said, you know what? There's some things that I have to have done before this deadline comes and before the Lord Jesus Christ comes back. What happens if you had that same tenacity, that same fervor, like, that shamelessness? See, a lot of times, and I know I can speak for me personally, a lot of times there's things that I don't do that I may have been called to do or may have the ability to do in the kingdom of God because of shame. I don't feel like I'm maybe as qualified. Even this whole YouTube thing is something that I've run from for quite a while, and I didn't want to do because I didn't feel like quite qualified enough. I'm not, I don't have a doctorate degree, and I'm not a theologian, as they say. I'm not any of the things that most people are on here, or at least pretend to be. I'm very passionate about my relationship with God, and I vigorously study it, but I don't doggedly pursue after any of the things I'm supposed to. And it's largely because of shame or fear or doubt. And I had no shame, no fear, no doubt when I was looking for that phone. I believed that I was going to find the phone. I wasn't ashamed to get down on my knees. I wasn't ashamed to pull stuff up. I wasn't ashamed to dig around. I wasn't ashamed to get the flashlight out. And whatever it took, I did whatever it took to try to get that phone because it was important to me. It meant something to me. Imagine if God was that important to all of us and meant something like that to all of us. This world would be a very different place. There would be nowhere we weren't afraid, I suppose. They were afraid to preach at. There would be nothing that we weren't afraid to do. There would be no stone that would be unturned. There would be no word that would be unsaid. There would be, so many things that we would do. We would be perfectly fine with fasting and praying and enduring some hardship in order to have that relationship or to get that thing from God. Imagine what strong towers and what holds that the enemy has on so many of us. And we often try to say our youth. But the enemy has a hold on many of our elders. He has a clamp on the mind of many of the people who've been in church for 20, 30, and 40, 50, 60 years because They have a way of doing things, a way of thinking, a way of believing, and they got stuck and they got used to their normal pursuit of God. Our normal pursuit of God is not enough. Our normal, let's go to church Sunday morning. Some of us go Sunday night. Let's go to our normal Wednesday or Tuesday night or day or night Bible study. Let's go to our regular Saints meeting or Friday night service or whatever, or choir rehearsal, and that's all that's required. But what if our pursuit was as dogged as our pursuit is with some other things? What if you pursued after God the same way you pursued after your degrees? What if you pursued after God the same way you pursued after your new house? What if you pursued after God the same way you pursued after the new car that you wanted, or you pursued after your spouse, or, oh my God, some of the things that we want out of life, the new shoes that we want. You know, some of us have saved money for a year to get the new things that we want. Some of us have sacrificed and made the sacrifice that we need to make to put money away so we can put a down payment on our new home. And oh my God, there's just so many things that we've pursued after with such great fervor and aggression. And then when it comes to God, it is like, He understands. God knows my heart. He knows that I would if I could. But that's one of the most dangerous things that I ever hear people say. And they think that it's their way out, but it's actually not. It's their destruction. It's them causing a curse upon themselves. The truth is, God knows your heart. Whew. Think about it. I'm giving a little pause there. People often say, oh, God knows my heart. But the truth is, God really knows your heart. He really knows the content of your character. He really knows that you're just saying that to get the other person to stop bothering you, but your heart is actually desperately wicked. He actually knows that you have no intention of ever doing any better for him, that you think that he is soft or weak, or that he's just going to say, oh no, it's no big deal. If they could, they would. No, he knows that you can and you won't. God knows. God knows that we can do a lot better than what we're doing, and we just won't, or it's just not important to us. So a lot of times when I hear people say, oh, God knows my heart, or only God can judge me, I'm like, and He will. And He will judge you. And it won't be the judgment you think. It won't be, oh, well, He knows that I still love Him. Right, He knows you love Him enough to try to get stuff from Him and to try to give a half an ounce of effort. But He also knows that you'll never devote your life to Him like He wants. You'll never give Him true worship or true honor, or true praise. God doesn't care about your excuses. God does not care about any of our excuses. He doesn't care that somebody in the church was mean to us. Somebody at the church may have abused us. He doesn't care that we're church hurt. He doesn't care that, the pastor was crooked at our last church, so we don't like it. He doesn't care that they preach too long, that services take too long. He wants you to pursue Him. He wants you to have a pursuit after Him, a dogged pursuit. When I say you, I'm talking to me too. So don't think this is about me telling you you're doing it. He wants us to pursue Him. God is not going to care about any of the little idiosyncrasies that we're trying to bring up to justify us not pursuing after Him. Oh, well, Lord, you know my work schedule. Okay, then what happens if He decides, okay, well, since your job is the excuse, then I'll just take your job from you. You have all kind of time. Oh, Lord, I'm just so depressed. I don't know. I can't. Your excuse was your job. So He took it, and you still didn't pursue after Him. God is not petty and vindictive, but God is a God who wants your attention. He wants your attention. He wants your devotion. He wants you. He wants your time. And if you're not willing to give any of those to Him, He's going to do things that, if you acknowledge Him, you say you love Him, you say you worship Him, you say He's all in your life, but then you don't give Him any of the things that He needs, He's going to do something to get your attention. So we said all that to say, last night when we were looking for our phone, the Lord kept placing that in our spirit. What about your pursuit? How come your pursuit for me is not like this? How come your pursuit for me is not like that new job, or the new client, or that big deal, or sending that email that can make you all that money? How come your pursuit for me is not that desperate? It's not that important. It's not that valuable to you. You think your $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 email, or is worth, let's say it's $1,000,000 email. You think that's more important than your relationship with me? That's powerful. That's powerful. God desires us. He desires us to pursue after him, to search for him, and to find him. And hopefully, happily, we'll find him.